Happy Belated Pi Day. Air interface progress. There has been some. We have progress. We have questions. Here's the rough drafts. A deceptively simple question is whether or not to force everything to be IP. IP is what the generic stream encapsulation assumes. We do, however, have the option of allowing non-IP traffic through in an intelligent manner. What sort of traffic might this be? It could be traffic flagged as legacy traffic from an air app. It could be our own custom baseband recipe. It could be almost anything. But it has to be something worth transporting, worth differentiating, and worth processing. We're looking for feedback here for sure. All right, so I took a satellite class. I took a class on the design of satellite links that involved using geosynchronous satellites to provide internet access to customers on airplanes. It was through the IEEE Communication Society, was taught by a very qualified person, and was 3 hours long. I learned that our choice of DVB-S2 is totally right on target. I learned that antennas are really hard to design for things that move fast and might get hit by birds. I learned that the sorts of things we're worrying about are absolutely the sorts of things we should be worried about, and that's pretty much it. I learned about who the major players are in the geo strata, and I've learned that the entire provide internet access to planes market has yet to fully take off, pun intended. I'm showing the notes I took during the class, but honestly this class simply reinforced the directions we're taking and the decisions we're making. We have our work cut out for us, but we are on the right track. Substantial progress has been made on defining what the default authentication and authorization schemes for Phase 4 ground radios should be. Our goal is to have a scheme that works out of the box, that has clear and easy-to-use instructions, and that supports more complex or restrictive authorization without friction. Well, without unnecessary friction. This is not an easy problem. Fortunately, we have some very competent people on our side. The discussion this week began with a summary of informational interviews and a core concept that leverages the authentication provided by Logbook of the World. Outernet setup experiences by Paul, KB5MU. Here's some video. He's written up a report of his experiences and their relevance to Phase 4 ground. Okay, Paul, what is this?
This is a commercial free-to-air dish with a linear LNB, which is sold by the people who do Outernet for receiving their broadcasts. I don't have the vertical post part of the mount yet. I'm going to arrange a temporary PVC rack that will slide into here and hold it up at the appropriate elevation angle. Once the receivers come in, then it should be all a matter of just plugging it in and having it work.
Cool. Okay, so what can we learn from this?
Well, possibly not much, but we will have done an experiment with DVB-S2 downlinks, or maybe DVB-S, because that's the coding they use for Outernet. And we'll see a little bit about how hard it is to point at a geostationary satellite with a dish this big and about 10 gigs. This is actually 11 gigs. And who knows what we'll learn.
All sorts of stuff. Cool. The Outernet electronics have arrived. Trying to point and acquire. Check out that PVC stand, homemade. Any comments, Paul?
Well, I haven't seen any sign of a signal yet. I'm using more coax than I'm supposed to use, but I don't think it's enough to matter. Other than that, I don't know what's going on.
The quest continues. There was some snow on Palomar on top of our experiment. How rude. Here's what snow on microwave equipment looks like. We're ready to receive the signals from the matched set of gear at Dixon. Like we reported last week, the final destination for this equipment is about a mile away and has a much better view. The bid to commit to real DVB-S2 instead of a modified version that changed QPSK to OQPSK or offset QPSK has been resolved. The space segment will use QPSK, which aligns with the DVB-S2 standard, instead of offset QPSK. The impact to the PA is considered to be insignificant at this time. Thank you, Space Team. The next step is to get positive confirmation that 90-degree BPSK can be used for the PL headers. This stands for physical layer headers in the DVB-S2 standard. This last confirmation is the only remaining obstacle to a fully compliant basic DVB-S2 modulation scheme. We expect to use 90-degree BPSK, QPSK, and we really hope to use 8 QPSK for Phase 4B. Dayton Hamvention planning has begun. The RSVP form for Phase 4 ground activities is available at the link in the notes. The slides for the talk at the Dayton Tapper AMSAT dinner have been started. If you are there, planning to be there, you are welcome to speak with me. Click on the link in the notes and sign up. If you want to infiltrate the Flex dinner instead, or establish a beachhead somewhere else, then let us know. Click on the link and sign up, or make some catty comments. I'm planning some fun trinkets and enjoyable keepsakes for distribution at Dayton. Phase 4 ground has space at the AMSAT booth at Dayton, and we will use the AMSAT booth for coordinating meetups, posting pithy remarks, and explaining ourselves, things like that. HackerF updates are numerous and will be in the next engineering report. Howie De Felice is the lead for one of the payloads we're tasked to support. It's called CQC, which stands for Cube Quest Challenge. This is a completely awesome project that sends a spacecraft to the moon to compete against other projects and how much data can be sent back. If you want to join this project, then you are in for a big treat. This is space cowboy cowgirl stuff at its best. The link in our end bumper will take you directly to the AMSAT engineering volunteer page. Anyway, Howie went to the super awesome DC area satellite show, and he wrote a great report. There are several companies showing off DVB-S2X gear that we might be able to use. His report will allow those of us on the Ascent team to begin to follow up and evaluate whether any of these commercial systems would be appropriate for us. It sounded like a fantastic show. Wish I could have been there. Bill Werner reports progress on pointing assist. He is able to get 1-degree resolution on a hardware pointing assistant. With the beam width of a 10 GHz DSS-style dish on the order of 2 degrees, this is a great start. I'm hoping to coordinate some VT students in making pointing assist circuits out of the boards that I got from SparkFun. Paul, KB5MU, believes that if we can possibly use a commercial sat finder available from Amazon at low cost, that might be another way to help people orient their dishes successfully. What the sat finder might have to do is find a commercial satellite near enough to us that it would provide meaningful pointing assistance. It should be obvious from the outernet experiences that pointing a dish sometimes requires real customer service. At a minimum, we must provide clear and relevant documentation, and we need to start thinking about how we provide technical support in the case where pointing is impossible due to equipment failure or shortcoming. This brings up something long-term and critical to our success, which is general technical support and general customer service for Phase 4 ground. It is not in the mission of Phase 4 ground engineering team to provide long-term technical support or customer service. So where do these functions belong? Where does technical support and customer service come from? Many of us will indeed participate fully in the community of users, but I think we have all experienced varying levels of satisfaction with the help we've gotten from community forums. If you're like me, then you believe that these sorts of questions need to be considered from the beginning and not suddenly an issue after sales begin. My job is to figure out what the right path forward is for us. This isn't settled at all, so I'm very interested in getting the widest possible feedback I can in order to best advise AMSAT of what they're incurring with a manufactured solution and a set of recipes. If we develop and maintain very good documentation, then that's one of the necessary conditions for customer service and technical support success. By itself, though, it may not be sufficient. John Klingelhofer sagt, meine Aussprache seines Namens war falsch. Entschuldigung, John. Ich dachte, war Klingelhofer. Sagt Klingelhofer, aber es ist ein Umlaut, nicht wahr? Nicht E. Ich werde probieren, es richtig zu machen. Your opinions are sought on this and all other subjects raised this week. Thank you for being part of the project. If you haven't joined AMSAT and ARRL, then you should. Your membership makes this project and many, many others possible. Let them know why you joined, and you've raised our visibility as well. Good morning, everyone. Happy belated Pi Day. Not just Pi Day, but rounded Pi Day. 3.14159 rounds to 31416. Pi's are round, rounded pi, Pi Day.